Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome into the World Center of Racing here on Precision Entertainment. Tonight, it's the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series for the George & Co. Heating and Air Conditioning 225 at Daytona International Speedway. A lot of fun here tonight in store for everyone viewing on YouTube. We appreciate you all tuning in. Of course, my name's Zach Case. Alongside me is James Newton. And producing for us, Bradley Cooper, filling in tonight. We appreciate him joining the wings here for Precision Entertainment. We're super excited. James, welcome in. Let's have some fun tonight here for Major League Sim Racing.
This is going to be a lot of fun for us. The drivers are going to, of course, be enjoying being out there and competing, but we got a really, really good look at what this is going to be about. This is going to be about the draft here at Daytona. This is going to be about that wicked 31-degree banking that we saw a really good shot of just now. This is a big one, obviously, right? People who even aren't into racing, they all know Daytona. This is a seriously important speedway, and we're going to tackle it once again.
Yeah, speaking of Daytona, obviously the Major League Sim Racing Speed Weeks wrapping up here. 3 series so far for the series, but going over to the schedule. Next week we'll head to Indianapolis to have a lot of fun there. But obviously the biggest thing, right? Daytona, kicking things off, the season opener, 90 laps. James, how fun is this track with the draft package here with the next gens?
It really is something special. It's not so much of like a aero dependent track in the sense of being able to like remove the air on the front really gets you like kind of sideways. When it comes to the cars overtaking and trying to cut each other off, it's not going to be nearly as ferocious as one of those kind of 1.5 mile tracks, or something like maybe Pocono or something. It really is going to be kind of a smoother transition, trying to find a buddy potentially. Not sure if we're going to see too much of that tonight, but I'd be interested if there's any working together versus an everyman for himself.
Well, you talked about the track, you talked about the banking, 31 degrees down in the turns. The trivals only 18, the backstretch 3. It opened back in 1959, 67 years ago. And the 2.5-mile tri-oval high banks of Daytona going to be the home of Major League Sim Racing A Open Series tonight. Obviously, a lot of fun in store. 90 laps, the total distance here. The biggest length race we've had this week here for Speed Weeks, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, really excited. And also, I like the little moment of the 18. So again, the tri-oval, right? We're looking at it right now, the stripe right in front of pit road. And that is 18 degrees of banking through there. So that is still a serious corner. And the speeds that they're going to be achieving, as we get a little bit of a glimpse of it right now, these cars are absolutely flying in a way that the other 2 series just aren't. Obviously, the racing is close, whatever series you pick. But specifically in terms of the top speeds, this is the series.
Yeah, that's the 26 car of Mike McCoy right now on track, putting down his qualifying lap. Around 2 minutes left to go, and you see the throttle input there. 178 miles per hour solo qualifying. You get 2 laps. You got to keep it above that yellow double line all evening long, and that's going to play a factor later on in the pack.
Yeah, you look at the track and you think there's got to be plenty of space, right? Plenty of space for all these cars, but when you're going at 100% or 99%, you got the risk factor right up at the sharp end. Now, something that is not risky. It's actually kind of cool out there. It's just over 70 degrees, so it is not a toasty evening in Florida.
I mean, I always think about Florida being that tropical, humid place, and I like that number right now. A little cooler down in the west side or the east side of Florida on the beaches of Daytona, and obviously riding alongside now with that 26 machine, doing a great job keeping it painted on that yellow line as he works onto the backstretch. And there's your in-car view. That's what the drivers see all night long here tonight. And it's going to get really hectic once we put 30, 40 cars onto the track and put them all bunched up together in that pack.
Yeah, and I think look at this this Nephilim team Nephilim 26. Looks like it looks like something's gone terribly wrong and it's already on fire. Obviously, it's going to be looking like that all evening long. But quite a striking look for McCoy. They come across, and again, as you said, trying to keep it right on the apron, on the inside, the shortest distance around the track. And when it comes to torturing that right front, that's a really good way to ruin that right front tire. But as we've said, the temperature is going to be nice and cool, so I don't think that right front will take too much beating, and it is a long old race as well.
Obviously, qualifying just wrapping up. You see that in the top left corner on the ticker there. McCoy will go P10, so we'll see if he stays there as everything wraps up and we go checkered on the qualifying session. Let's break down the race, though. 90 laps, your total distance. We'll see how fuel, tires obviously play a factor. That's going to be the biggest thing here tonight, but we're going to start the gridding process here for the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. On your pole, though, it's Zach Domer in the 014 machine. Raced plenty of time so far this week, and on the outside of him, the 091 of Joshua Sanoke. Rolling off in P3 on the inside of row number 2, it's the 90 of Joe Manella, and on the outside of him, Christian Barnes in the 27 machine. Nice Domino's livery there for him. In row 3 on the inside, Kyler Adams in the 21 machine. And to the outside, Sean Hook in that 88 livery, obviously doing a great job so far this week in the C Open and B Open. We'll see if he brings the heat here tonight in the A Open Series. Now starting P7 is John Williams in that 57 machine. To the outside, the 12 of Russell Marciniak in P8. And rounding out your top 10. We apologize for the technical difficulties there on the grid, but moving into P9, it's going to be the 28 of Richard Wilson Jr. and Mike McCoy Sr. We just watched his qualifying lap. He's going to be P10. Over to you, James.
9th and 10th split by literally nothing. If you're a 10th slower than the leader, you line up 11. This is Christopher Toppings in the 43 alongside the 7 of Scott Matthews lining up 11th and 12th. 13th goes the way of Gregory Badney. In the 24, the 92 of Corey Powell alongside in 13th and 14th. Again, another row that is split by literally nothing. The 97 of Adam Ramsey on the inside for 15th position. 16th goes to Jamal Pugh. 17th, Christopher Reel in the 13. The 18th of Mike Wayne Robinson in that Precision 18 in 18th. 19th is Dave Allen in the 31, alongside the 77 of Nicholas Kelch.
Yeah, rolling off 21st, it's Ethan Thompson. On the outside of him in 22nd, it's Jacob Losecki there in the 51. In 23rd, Jason McCook. To the outside of him, JJ Pope. In 25th, Gary May in that 9 machine, the Napa colors. On the outside in 26, rolling off, it's Jason Trochecki. In P27, Joe Cohen. To the outside of him, the 99 of Joshua Wise. And rolling off in 29th, Josen Essenberg. To the outside, Dakota Sidris. And rounding out your field here, 31st, Jared Essenberg. Robert Burke is 32nd in the 22 machine. In 33rd, Brad Harris. Ronald Breland in the 34. And rolling off 35th, the tail end of the field this evening, it's Jonathan Periri. So we will put the cars on track. You see them pacing around right now. James, are you excited for this one? 90 laps here at Daytona.
I might need to be a little bit further back in my seat. I'm on the edge of it at the moment. As you can see, again, the banking is absolutely fantastic. And it's going to be a really good one. Lights are already on. Drivers are making their way around. Saw some fantastic liveries. We saw basically a Chase Elliott livery and helmet to match as well. So we've got some seriously passionate drivers, a full-on 30-plus grid. This is really going to be a good one here, Zach.
Well, the lights are on the track. The pace car is going to pull off. 90 laps here for the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. You're watching here on Precision Entertainment. Green, green, green. We are off and away here at Daytona. Leading the way on the bottom there, the pole sitter, Zach Domer, doing a great job, a good push, but it's the outside line getting the advantage. There's the drop down there from the 91 machine, the 091 of Sanuk. They're going to make their way through turn 3 and 4 here on lap 1. You see everyone fly by here as the pack works their way back into the tri-oval. 1 lap complete, everyone's steady and ready to go. It's going to be the 091 leading the way.
Camera shakes by all the cars thundering through. They're fanning out, trying to find a little bit of space. A big move near the back. If I tell who that was, potentially Breland. Topping's making up a spot as well. There's nobody able to pull away because trying to punch the hole in the air is so difficult when you're going this fast. The car feels enormous. And here we go. Look at the suck to the back of the ideal Chevy machine. And you're just trying to pick which side you trust to try to get you at least to the front.
Yeah, so far this week in speed weeks, really it's been the bottom line that's been preferred, but we've seen plenty of runs in the different cars and trucks working their way up top, right along deeper in the field. It's the 98 Ethan Thompson doing a great job. And you talked about, James, what line do you pick? Do you play conservative here, just 3 laps in, or you want to get to the front?
I think it depends on how you're feeling, and right, these drivers, they're trading some blows. We get fantastic look at the sparks, right, as the cars compress through. I mean, just Zach, you want to talk about G-forces? These guys are pulling some serious. Oh my goodness, as we've got a little bit of a moment. It looks like Kelch, the 77, getting dropped back potentially. Maybe that wasn't the 77.
I think
Having
it was
a look
Mikey
at
Robinson
somebody,
there.
the 18. Yeah, out of line. That shows you how important it is to stay in the draft.
Yeah, that precision entry down there, we talked about it. Mikey Robinson, there's his in-car camera. Nice view of him getting settled back in deeper into the field, back to 30 seconds. So he was probably up in the top 15 when that happened and was able to dive below the yellow line and get back into it. Hopefully he can stay in the draft there for the 18 machine. But the biggest thing, James, and we haven't talked about it here tonight, it's an open series, right? So that means it's an open setup. So every guy, every team running their own setup here tonight, and that obviously creates some speed differences and some ride height differences that you're seeing on track.
Yeah, definitely have a look again. We have a couple of sparks off of the leader. Looking back at the 14 in second, who again gives us a little bit of a shot as we head across the strike once more. And some people at home might be thinking, well, why don't you just go right around him? You're going to be met with a wall of air if you overtake the 91 at this stage. The 14 and the 21 trying to tuck in behind. Again, use that draft, use the fact that the air is being punched, and just try to follow as close as you can. Try to save that right front. And I think we kind of got that the question answered by the 18 of what do you do here, Zach? I think it's just try to hold position for as long as possible. And as the race progresses, you want to make sure that you kind of meet your thresholds. By this amount of laps, I want to be 15th. By this amount of laps, I want to be within the top 10. You know, with 15 to go, I want to be in the top 5. You know, whatever it is. As we have a bit of fanning out, 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide racing here in the tri-oval. It's getting a little hairy up there. Looks like one driver got pushed to the middle. Looks like the 21 machine of Adams now riding in the center. One guy up high getting hung out. That's the 90 machine. He's going to fall to the back. The biggest thing here we talked about, though, in that pack racing is where are your teammates? Can you get hooked up together? That's going to be the important factor here tonight. When can you find your teammate? And what is the strategy call maybe coming down pit road when it is a bigger field, right? And you got to remember green flag pit stops. You want to be with someone if you're going to be pack racing.
Yeah, definitely. We're having a look at the 21 of Adams trying to tuck in behind the quartet up at the front. They're all basically tucked up decently. And a couple of shots to the back of some of the cars, just trying to figure out where the grip is as well. And we talked about aero also. That front end, you really need the air to try and get the car stable. It's not even about the downforce. It's more about stability and predictability when it comes to the platform. So anything unpredictable. And again, as you see, we're over 190 miles an hour, and we're going to be over 190 miles an hour for a while if everything goes to plan, that is.
Yeah, that's Adam Ramsey there leading the high line in the 97 machine, and they're making some moves. You see some cars on the bottom getting checked up a little bit every so often, and we'll see if the 97 can make some headway up here on the top. And it's just going to be the balance of runs tonight. Which line gets the run when needed? You're going to get pushed up, you're going to get pushed back. Now a couple drivers popping up into that high groove. Now the 97 riding along behind the 8, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to see that high line get pushed up towards the front of the field, and guys from the bottom are just going to come up, get in line and block, and it's either you pick them up or you go around them on the outside.
Yeah, definitely. Also, there is a bit of a potential, although these drivers are driving quite hard at the moment, it must be said. They are going to be taking a longer distance around the track on the high side, of course. They have a bit of breathing room at the moment. That trio specifically on the outside looks quite good. Nobody's turned traitor on the inside the last couple of laps or so, so the 92 may get a good run to the front. Here it comes right now off of the banking into one. And the outside, as you said, is looking quite good, but they can also save that right front a little bit more. They're not having to turn quite as hard. You can see the inside coming back on them, but now they're going to have the overspeed on the straight.
Yeah, down the big Daytona backstretch right now. 9 laps on the board out of 90 here on Precision Entertainment. You're watching the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. That's Corey Powell right now from St. Johnsville, New York, working on the outside in that 92 machine. We'll see if he can get a run here heading back into the tri-ovals. Everyone's just bobbing and weaving a little bit deeper in the field. And James, is that the dirty air that's coming off of some of the drivers in front?
Yeah, it's just the combination of 4 or 5 people in front of you making different decisions, trying to figure out where they want to go, right? This is an enormous snake of cars, and they're all trying to half work with each other. As soon as there's an opportunity, they're going to try to take it as well, right? I was kind of alluding to, turning traitor. You're on the inside, the outside's working. As soon as I got a lane, I'm taking it. I'm leaving you guys in the dust, and I'm not interested in coming 6th in a line of 6 cars. I'm interested in leading the pack. You give me a shove, and let's go. And that's what the 92 is currently enjoying on the outside. It's kind of fallen off a little bit, but they're still, they've made, I think Powell's up to 3rd or 4th just a little while ago. It's backed off now. But Powell up double-digit positions this early in the race. Quite serious stuff.
You're not wrong about that, James. You could say with the Georgian Co heat and air conditioning 225, it might be a little hot out there at Daytona and hot inside the sim. But for Powell and the rest of the crew on the top side, I think the biggest thing here is just continuing to work your way up the field. As you see a live look there at the weather conditions. We talked about earlier on a cool 71 degrees down in Daytona for this Sunday evening race. As they're going to click away lap 11 out of 90 for the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. Back up front, it's been all Joshua Sanook right now in the 091. Zach Domer doing a great job riding behind him. A good pusher there in 3rd, the Williams machine in the 57 entry. Ride along the backside there of the 091. You see how close Domer's going to get, and I think the biggest thing too is talking about that engine heat. making sure that you don't expire the engine. No fast repairs here tonight for Major League Sim Racing. So the biggest thing is making sure you take care of that engine, but also keep the guy in front of you up front.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like trying to, basically do a 100-meter sprint and hold your breath the whole time. It is not easy work, and that's what the engine's having to deal with, right? The body work is loving the fact that there is no air in front of us. It gets to fire off. And as we're seeing, there's, I wouldn't call it hargy-bargy necessarily, but we are seeing, again, a handful of, wouldn't call them shots, but you've got somebody right behind you in another race car as you tear around the track as quickly as possible, and they're constantly just kind of shoving you, kind of giving you, a little bit of a shoulder, a little bit of this, They're not trying to spin you out. They're not trying to do anything negative. If anything, they're trying to hurry you up while you're going as fast as possible. And it's not easy, is the point there. It's very, very difficult to try to keep the car in good condition and in a good position where you can basically afford to take those kinds of bumps. And as we can see here, the outside line persistent, and the 21, the 26, Adams and McCoy have found each other. So currently 7th and 9th, just inside the top 10. So those teammates have linked up on the bottom, but nothing doing at the moment.
I think one thing to note here, I'll use the YouTube chat, for example. Dawson Wise bringing up the factor of tunnel vision, right? The lines bobbing and weaving. You're just trying to follow the guy next to you. So if he moves down a half a car length or a half a lane there, you're going to bob and weave with him, right? And it comes into the factor of, if you move down too much, you might find a guy on the inside, and that's when the big one happens. And they're racy right now up front. Lap 14 clicked away here for the leaders. And for a majority of drivers right now, it's staying in this lead pack. You see how big that gap is all the way back to the end of the tail line. And it's just staying in that air as they work their way through turn 1 and 2 here at Daytona. And there it is, the tunnel vision. We have a caution, though. It's a big one. Back in turn 2. Deeper in the field, there's the 13 car up and around. He will come to rest there down on the bottom, but Real getting some car contact. He will end his day, and he'll move right to pit road, so he'll tow. We'll see if he comes back out, but caution here on lap 15. Here is your replay, James.
All right, we're on the high side. Potentially going to give somebody a shot in the front. Oh, no, we're coming down. There's somebody there. Oh, it's just going to happen a second time. 2 strikes. So nothing terrible that first time. Probably a little bit of a scare. And that last time. You can also see the banking too, right? Trying to basically crabbing and splitting over that apron. Shows you how seriously banked this is. But there was a bit of a moment. Another close moment here. The 26 falling way back from their teammate as well. McCoy trying to hang on to that.
Yeah, I would
say tell who that was up into the wall.
I think that's David Allen there in the 31 machine. He was on the bottom, and you're going to get a good angle here. On the bottom, on the line, and you just see the 13 work down and thought there was a gap, and maybe David pushed the envelope a little bit. Hard contact in the outside wall, though. Definitely broke that right front, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other drivers piled in, so maybe 4 cars with damage here. I think the biggest thing, though, is now, how does this affect the rest of the field, right? We're still under caution. We're still going to pace around here behind the iRacing pace car. But the biggest thing is, do you pit here to put fuel in the car?
Yeah, I think the trick is just going to be trying to do what everybody else does. I don't think that this race, at least at the moment here, Zach, I don't think that this race is really going to have people benefit from doing something spectacular at this point. I think just everybody coming down. If it were me, I'd probably try to top it off. I'd probably try to go as far into this race as possible from this point on versus trying to be clever. And I think later on, as the cement starts to dry, as we miss a pit box there, looks like. Oh, everybody's missing the pit box. That's the 2 leaders may have a little bit of slow stop here. Let's see how this changes the complexion. Oh, and still is not in it. Oh, there we go.
Couple drivers out and away, and a little shake there from the 091 there. He will fall, looks like 3rd, maybe 4th in line. Everyone comes to pit road there. So everyone that was on the lead lap brings it down pit road, topping off fuel. Didn't see a lot of tire changes there. So I think the biggest thing is, how does Daytona really affect the cars in terms of the tires?
Yeah, it does depend on how hard you push them. As speaking of tires of the 64, deciding to stay out, Dakota Cyrus takes so in that fascinating the Ohio State American football team helmet. Kind of a cool look right there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see basically the tire situation is just, again, trying not to have any moments where you're going, I mean, God forbid, sideways, but where you're having to check up, where you're having to, take avoiding action, coming all the way down to the apron on the backstretch, for example. As you said, the tunnel vision can be a factor where you have to basically get dragged from the middle to basically off the racetrack in avoidance of something on the outside, which we saw earlier on. I think that just trying to keep those tires in a good window, maybe backing off, especially at this stage. I don't think that going for it on this restart is really going to be the way to go. I think holding back, trying to create a little bit of an offset in terms of not when you pit, but how much life you have in those tires. As now the 64 looks like they're coming down for service.
Yeah, I think the 64 just maybe wanted that bonus point, leading a lap. We'll see if he still gets that. He'll bring it down pit road, though. And he will add some fuel into his car, so maybe a mistake there on the strategy. But while we got a second, we're going to go lights out on the pace score and double everyone up. Let's bring in the 18 of Michael Robinson, our in-race, in-car reporter. Hey, Mikey, it's the boys up in the Precision Entertainment booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
We saw you get out of line there earlier on in the race. Was it a checkup? Did you make car contact? What was the reasoning there?
Oh, man, I had to check up. It was a big checkup. It was almost like they all hit their brakes all at once. So it was either get out of the way or I was going to be the one that caused the big one.
Well, right now you're riding in P27. What's the strategy here right now heading into the rest of the race? We're still very early on in this one, not even 20 laps in. What's your game plan?
At this point, we're just going to find whoever's going to be the best person to get us to the front. But we're going to try and make it up to the front, try and make these spots back because we have a fast car. It's just a matter of getting it to the front, getting it to the point.
Well, Mikey, I'll let you go find some friends to work with, and good luck the rest of the way.
Oh, gonna need it, man. It's Daytona, baby.
Have fun. We'll talk to you later.
You too.
So that's Mikey Robinson there in the Precision 18 entry. Back up front, though, the 57 going to lead the way after the 64 came down to pit. James, what's the strategy here on the restart, right? Do you get the guy lined up behind close? Do you go early? What's the strategy here at the plate track?
It looked like the inside line had the advantage in that early phase, right? About the first 14, 15 laps or so. And try as they might on the outside, there didn't seem to be enough help. It seemed like there were too many gaps and the drivers were kind of wiggling around. It's not hard to be up there, way up at the top here at Daytona. So I'll be interested to see if the outside line is preferable, trying something new. If enough people do it, it may start working.
Well, John Williams is going to be the lead car. He spins the tires a little bit on the bottom, but we're off and away. Get a good gap there. Back to second on the bottom. Another guy falls in line. That's the 21 of Adams that was on the outside. You see the 91 working up top right now, falling a little bit back, but right off the restart, looks like that bottom line's hooked up.
Yeah, that bottom line is absolutely, it's just a freight train. Here comes the 7 as well. Matthews trying to look at the top 10 and gets there. And the outside, again, I mean, Wilson is there. Let's see here. It's just going to be the inside line all day long on this restart. Obviously, the machines are all bunched up. They seem like they've got some good discipline. There may be a little bit of a push going on the high side, 4 to 6 cars or so. That's about it. And nobody seems to be stepping out of line. Once you get on the inside, everybody's kind of hanging around there. Unless you're outside the top 10, then you may want to try that outside line for something extra. We have a look here on board. I believe we're looking at around 7th or so. This might be the 24 of Vadnais. Oh, apologies, Scott Matthew. We're looking at the back of the 24.
Yeah, Scott Matthews falling in line there, 193 miles per hour. You see the throttle input on the left. He's going to go to the high side, though, a block from the 8. The 7 moves up there. The 97 going to hop in front of him. We'll see if the outside line has anything for him here. It's the 97 of Ramsey doing a great job making his way to the front of the field. You see those cars now lined up on the top. That's Domer there too, the fourth car in line in the 014 entries. They make their way through the tri-oval this time. We'll see if the 97 has anything for the leaders. It's all Williams right now up front on the bottom. But we'll see if that 97 can get up to the front. That ignition entry doing a great job. And he's got a hell of a pusher right there from the 7.
Yeah, they are locked in on the high side. They are on the way as well down the back straight, which is where they're going to have the largest advantage. Trying to come off of 2. And they are adamant. They're on the way. And the 7 is extremely persistent. You can always enjoy a bit of a boost, but it can also be really tough when there's somebody who refuses to get off of your bumper. Again, it takes so much skill to try to stay locked like that.
Yeah, battle for the race lead now. It's the 97 leading that one. Last time by, Adam Ramsey stays on the top. The 7 dips low, though. Matthews goes to the bottom here. Side-by-side action going on to the Daytona Super Stretch as the 7 goes alongside on the bottom. The 8 going to stay locked to the back bumper as they fly by us here. Heading back into turn 3 and 4, it's Adam Ramsey leading the way on the top. We'll see if he ducks down. He stays up right in that middle groove. Here comes the bottom line, back on the bottom. It's Domer pushing Matthews to the point. We'll have another change for the race lead. Domer's going to go up top, lead him high and dry. We'll see who leads this one. Lap 22, give it to the 014 of Zach Domer. As Ramsey will get close up to his back bumper. Matthews still leading the way on the bottom, but this is the side-by-side racing that we talked about earlier on. This is what Daytona is. The next gen's putting on a show here in the A Open Series.
And the 14 of Domer really has the confidence. We've seen them change a couple of lanes over the course of a couple of laps. And it is Matthews down low. But really the 26, so McCoy and Pugh, 5th and 7th at the moment. 3rd and 4th on the high side really gave Ramsey the confidence, and that kind of convinced Domer, come over to our side, come to the high side. Let's see what we're working with here. It is now a dead heat as they come across once again. This is what Daytona is all about. They are too wide, and they're going to be too wide, it appears, for quite a while. The 64 there trying to get out of the way. This is going to be very spicy here, Zach.
Yeah, it's going to get spicy deeper in the field. You see the lap car there of Dakota Sidris. Lost the draft. He'll go 1 lap down there on the top, maybe a pit road penalty too. He's going to get up in the wall trying to stay out of the way. We'll see if anyone comes up to push him. No, they go alongside the bottom 2 by 2. Back up front though. Domer getting pushed by Ramsey. He'll drop to the bottom in front of Matthews. Now remember, Matthews got left high and dry there.
Big accident. The 90 is dropping immediately. This is a big accident, looks like.
Yeah, big contact there. We'll have caution on the racetrack, excuse me, lap 24, and there's the cars. Everyone bundled up there on the bottom. We'll get a replay for you momentarily, but that's the 90. Up against the wall, got turned there, the 12 involved, a lot of drivers involved, and this is one of the big ones here, folks.
Yeah, brutal. Oh, and again, just no front end, no brakes. So again, so the 90 gets up here, the 26 has a humongous shove, and the 90 gets literally sandwiched on the high side, and they're getting the turbulent air from the front, basically no air from the front, and just looking for that speed. But the forces and the compression on the 90, there's not really anywhere to go. But the 8 again, trying to stay out of the back of the 97, is 3rd and 4th on the high side, and the 26 is just going to get that 90 and just send them on in, which is really helpful. That's what the 90 is looking for, but not the back of the 8, that Rain-X machine, and then it's just a tumble dryer.
Yeah, everyone piling on in, and if you're the 90 there, you want the push if you're the lead car, but you don't want the push if you're behind someone, right? And that's the biggest thing. We'll catch up on the leaders, though, as they pace their way around the track behind the iRacing pace car. 25 laps down here for the George & Co. Heating and Air Conditioning. 225 at Daytona. You're watching on Precision Entertainment. I'm Zach Gase alongside James Newton. And we'll probably have some pit stops here. I would assume everyone's going to want to top off again. No stage racing here in Major League Sim Racing in the A Open Series and in the family of series. And we'll see who elects to come in. Ramsey staying on the racetrack. Domer, though, the first one, the leader, he's going to bring a handful of cars in and we'll see what pit stops look like.
Yeah, I'd like to have a look here. So normally the amount of time that they're stationary will give us a good indication of what is up in the pit box. So let's see if we can make sure to hit our marks this time, nice and gingerly into the box for Domer. And if that right side goes up, they'll be taking tires, and nothing happened. They just filled it with fuel and sent the 14 on its way.
Yeah, the 014, we've seen him race so far in the C Open Series on Tuesday nights here on Precision, along with the Thursday series for the B Open Series. So that's another thing to stay tuned in on. The biggest thing right now, 26 laps down. They're working on 26 out of 90. And the new race leader, it's Adam Ramsey in the 97 machine. Just a little info on Adam. From Destin, Florida, age 42, in the Team Ignition entry, that Toyota Camry, looking mighty fine in the white, black, and red livery. We'll see what Adam can do now from the race lead. YouTube wanted to see him. Well, guess what? He's your race leader now, James. And the biggest thing is, we're only 26 laps into this. We've seen it get a little dicey now with the big one and a minor crash, so 2 cautions so far. But if you're maybe 9th, 10th, maybe just outside the top 10, what's your strategy? How do you find your teammates in that massive pack?
Yeah, I mean, obviously depending on how far back you are, as we actually have a look here at the 51 of Loesch, who I think the first 5 or 6 cars ahead of them have lost a handful of positions. I believe we are coming back from about 8 or 9 positions further back. So Loesch has been on the move and has been making really, really good decisions at 51, staying out of trouble as well. Similarly to the livery, they are being nice and subtle about it, but we are picking up on it. As there go Loesch up 10 spots. Domer, Barnes, Williams, McCoy falling back from where they were. Domer obviously coming into the pits, but you've got a whole bunch of other movers. Pope and Thompson up 15 plus positions. Our leader right now up 14. So it really is showing how, you know, regardless where you qualify, making those good decisions, trying to stay out of trouble, and basically picking the moment to go, right? The 90, as we saw with that big accident, you know, unfortunately it ended in disaster for the 90 and for many others. A lot of these drivers have a big moment where they can decide, all right, I'm going here and I'm going now, or kind of waiting for an opportunity. And as soon as it presents itself, they pull the trigger. We saw the 14, the 014 make a couple of different decisions. So I think that making those count, whenever you have the opportunity, making that opportunity count, that's going to get you up those 2-3 spots. You get another opportunity that allows you to get 2 or 3 more spots. It's not all going to be some, you know, beautiful Disney movie around the outside for the win kind of thing. It's going to be a methodical climb up the ladder.
I think the other thing to make note of right now, just looking at your running orders, we got 2 drivers out 10 laps down. That's the 31 of David Allen and Christopher Reel, both out of this race, P34 and P35. Joseph Essenberg 8 laps down. Dakota Sidrus, we saw him go 2 laps down actually. We got 2 drivers 1 lap down right now. So a majority of the field, everyone 29th and up on the lead lap, as they're going to work their way behind the pace car here through turn 3 and 4. We're going to re-dice them and restack them here for the restart. And on the bottom, it's going to be Ramsey. We have Matthews up top in that 7 machine. And the 8, the 21, and Richard Wilson in that 28. Pace car lights out. We'll see what Ethan Thompson can do here on the restart. He is locked and loaded and ready to go. Driver in-car camera, we're waiting for the green. You see the 97 jump, the high side getting checked, step back a little bit there, didn't go. He's gonna get on the binder there just for maybe a touch, but it's right back on the loud pedal, working into turn 1. As Thompson now gets through into 4th gear, we'll get him up to 5th gear on the backstretch. What a drive right now from the 98 machine of Ethan Thompson. What a view out of the front of that cockpit.
Yeah, I would say what a view in the sense as we got all sorts of moving and shaking. 7 now goes to the middle of the track, trying to follow Christian Barnes, who's found themselves up near the sharp of the 27 Domino's machine, trying to deliver here on the high side and taking again a couple of shots. Matthews is absolutely, I mean, you could say team player. You could also say, basically the MMA fighter of this race, absolutely touching the car in front. As now looks like we have a change for the lead here. The high side now looks favorable.
Yeah, Ramsey going back to the point there in that 97 ignition entry. Getting pushed by the 27 of Barnes. The 3 cars hooked up on the top. Ramsey gonna look to the bottom though and block. Here comes the outside, it's the Barnes. They have the run. The Dominoes trying to delivery machine now. They're gonna deliver and they're gonna go to the point. The 7's gonna leave them high and dry though. Block the 98 ignition entry. So you got 2 ignition machines now on the bottom. Here comes Dahmer on the top though. 3 wide action here at Daytona coming off of turn 4. Zach Dahmer's gonna work the top. Barnes gonna get left in the middle, and Zach Dahmer's gonna go to the point here.
Lowe's trying to go around the outside as well, not trying, able to get there. Lowe's down the top 3 any second now, 19 positions gained for the 51. They're going to run out of people to overtake here in just a moment. Williams currently in the lead. We had some 3 wide for the lead in Barnes. Where have they fallen now? They're 6th position. Now make it 7th. As they've been able to fall back in line. Looks like the high side for the 27. 3rd in line on the top. And now who's here to play? 98 of Thompson, as we're seeing. We're having a look at the onboard there, Zach. And you said it was a nice view, but I couldn't really see a whole lot, which is exactly the point. It's very tricky to see out of these cars. Spotters are absolutely necessary as we have another yellow.
Yeah, big wreck down at turn 3 and 4. Plenty of drivers around. Just driving, maybe mowing the grass there on the infield. It's the 91 machine. We'll get some eyes on that. We'll get you a replay here shortly. They're all wadded up there, tight racing, and here's the replay. Looks like the 46, Sean Hook, also involved. And there it is, the 91, just a bystander up on the high side. Nose it in there to the outside wall, and not the day you want there for the 91.
Let's see, we're in transition. The 43's down low. There is 3 wide right in front of us. Oh, and that's what it was. So 3 wide became 2.5 wide. The Chili's 88. Trying to stay tough in the middle. And oh my goodness, at that point, right, you have that accident, and then you have another accident, then you have another accident, and it just kind of starts to fall apart. Oh, we almost lose the rear. Good catch there. Bit too late to not take damage, but that 91 trying to dig its way out of trouble. And kind of a weird look there. Obviously the left front being torn up. Normally any kind of inertia would pull you to the outer wall. Most of the time the right side of a car gets the worst of it. But strangely for the 91, not really up in the wall too hard. The main hit came when they came back down, so that is not going to be ideal regardless of which side that damage is on.
Yeah, a third of the race clicked away here for the 90 lap distance, as we'll see what Tigers we have on pit road. Track position we know is important here, but also we can see guys go up and down the leaderboard. Dahmer's going to stay out. We just saw him last time by, so the 57 machine of Williams going to bring it on in. He'll bring Matthews with him. That was the 91 earlier of Josh Wise that was caught up in that accident you saw on the replay. We'll see if he can get it all sorted out. And look at that, George and Co. Heating and Cooling right on the side there. The title sponsor of the race also taking care of the 57 machine. It's a top it off and gone for the 57. We'll see the race off the pit road, and we'll see where he stacks up here later on in this caution.
Yeah, I always love that shot where they come in for fuel, then they peel out on the tires that they're trying to save and stretch. Always kind of a fun little moment there. Everybody else hanging out, getting service taken care of.
Yeah, some damage fixed there for the 67 and also for the 91 of Josh Wise. But I think, James, the biggest thing and the biggest question is you got to figure out who has damage and who doesn't have damage, right? And that's, you don't want to push a car that maybe has some aero damage, and that's obviously going to cause some problems.
Yeah, definitely. That's, of course, obviously these aren't just drivers in the car just hoping for the best and, letting the sim kind of help them out. It's a team, right? It's a team sport. It takes more than just one person, kind of guessing, and they'll of course team as we share information as well. And it's not easy to get even with a team. This is obviously not an easy event, as you said. already over the 1/3 distance. The race flying by, especially if you are on the back half of the grid, or back half of the pack, I should say, as drivers here. Again, Thompson, Pope, Ramsey, all these drivers really making a serious impact from where they started. I'll be interested to see where they finish come the end of the event. Ethan Thompson, again, currently in second, will be on the front row to get this thing started. And I'll be interested to see if they can turn that 19 into a 20 by the end of the first couple of laps of this restart. I think the driver that's impressed me the most here, Zach, is the 7. I think that the amount of pushing, the amount of just pace, it seems like they're all over the back of whatever car's in front of them. 7 only led for maybe just a moment, but the decisions seem to be very direct. Confidence seems to be there, and I think that car is probably the one to watch right now.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna see if we can dial one of the drivers up on the front row. That's Ethan Thompson. We'll see if we can dial him up maybe before we go back green as they work their way through turn 2. Let's drag him up to the booth. See if this works out for us. It looks like it will. Let's grab Ethan Thompson. Thompson, it's the boys up in the Precision Entertainment booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. What's going on?
Hey, brother, you're on the front row here for this restart. What's the strategy?
Strategy is definitely going to be working with my teammates. I got 3 of my team ignition, or 2 of my team ignition teammates here, and then we got one of our affiliate teammates in the 8 car. So feeling pretty good about having all those guys. Hopefully, the 4 of us get linked up, and we can kind of try to see if we can't dominate the front for a little while.
Well, we'll let you go dial them up and get dialed in here for this restart. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Nice and calm for somebody who's on the outside and going to look to get this restart. Sometimes you think you'd pop in and they're all sweaty and ready to go, and a lot of these drivers just kind of go, yeah, just kind of see what happens, see if it kind of comes to us. That's the kind of stuff. That confidence is what really kind of has me shaking in my boots.
I'm cool and collective, I would say, are the words here. We're going to come back to green, and we'll see what Dahmer does on the bottom. You talked about the teammates from Ignition. There they are, Thompson and Ramsey. And there it is, green, green, green once again here at Daytona. Dahmer doing a great job getting pushed out there in front. Maybe went a little bit sooner in that box than maybe the guy in second was thinking of, but we'll see if Thompson can get down in front of his teammate of Ramsey going into turn 1 and 2. And he does just that. The 98 falling back in line behind Zach Dahmer. And Dahmer trying to basically block. He's going to have to stay on the bottom. There goes Team Ignition up top. It's Ramsey and Thompson now. The 98 and the 97 working together. They got the affiliate in the 8 there as well. They're going to push the high side to the lead.
This is looking very, very close. What kind of help does the bottom have? Does anybody have any help for Dahmer? It's like 24 on the way. Vadnais up into 4th position. Not quite locked in yet. Now they'll get a bit of a shove. They're going to go for a ride. Again, the 0-1-4 so strong on the bottom. And this is about as close as we've seen for the lead. 2 wide, and they're still shuffling and snaking, and they're looking for air as well. This is so tricky. Remember, the leader at the moment did not take tires last time by. I believe the driver in second, or apologies, the leader on the high side took 2 last time out. So there's no fresh tires on the front. And so trying to get that information and figure out.
Yeah, the pit stop times there being shown on the right side of the ticker. Guess who is also up inside the top 5? It's Mikey Robinson. We talked to him earlier on during the first caution. He made his way back through the field. The 18 car now working his way on the bottom. The 91 also up there. The 091 of Chinook. But it's Zach Dahmer leading the way. Now on the bottom of the 014. He's got help there from, it looks like, a couple drivers, as you see Robinson going to the top there with support from the 091. Team Ignition behind them on the high side. They got shuffled out a little bit. We'll see what Domer elects to do here on the bottom. Does he go up the block? Lap 36 of 90 here. He does. He'll go up and block the 18. The 18 all over the back bumper. He'll go to the bottom here in the tri-oval. What a move there. Side-by-side action. Give it to the 014 last time by. Zach Domer now on the top. On the bottom, Robinson goes to the point from the help of the 24 machine. That's Vadnais there on the bottom. He made his way up to the front. Another shove there on the bottom side. It's Robinson working his way. There's the in-car camera. Calm, cool, and collected from the lead, but now the top's going to get the run. It's the 014 and the 091 leading the way on the bottom and to the top. Team Ignition back to the point on the high side. Can Thompson do anything here?
There has to be so much trust. There's no space out there. And Zach, they're just getting closer and closer to each other, trying to use that side draft if they can to take a bit of air off of their competitors, kind of slows them down, as the air is everything. The run is everything. And what a clever move by Robinson, trying to go to the inside there. Currently in third. Help from the 24 in fourth. As they now fan out, who's that that's popped to the high side? Looks like maybe the 24. So Vadnais trying to make that up 9 spots, make it a double-digit figure. There's a couple of drivers really to the high side, probably unintentionally. Give a good look at the onboard at the lead of the high side.
Yeah, great.
Vadnais out there on the high side. Thompson going with him.
Yeah, great look there off the front end through the tri-oval as the 24 works his way around the top. Team Ignition pushing his way. That's Thompson there on the top. Battle for the race lead though. Thompson gets pushed to the top, but here comes Mikey Robinson on the top side now with support there. And it looks like Domer's going to try to stay in line on the bottom. As they work their way, Pope now pushing the 18, trying to get him the race lead here coming off of turn 4 as the cars scramble back and forth there in the draft. Mikey Robinson, it's a dead heat there. Domer's going to lead this time by on the bottom, but Mikey Robinson now leading the top side into turn 1 and 2. As everyone gets a little tighter here, 40 laps. Now the distance so far in this one, 90 the total. We'll see what they elect to do here coming off of turn 2. You see another pack forming later on, just getting into the tri-oval, but back to the race lead. Domer now on the bottom. Is the stall from the top side now happening as the 91 pushes the 014 to the race lead to the point. They got 2 cars, the gap up top. There's the battle though. It looks like cars around. It's the big one once again. Turn 3 and 4 happened inside the top 10, and there's the field, folks. The 28 gets turned around, another Team Ignition entry, and caution will be out on the racetrack more likely. There it is, folks. The caution on the racetrack, and this one is one of the big ones.
That was not a good one. Obviously, that's a majority, almost the majority of the field there. It looks like Barnes was having a look, trying to limp back out of that one. 97 involved, maybe the 24 involved as well, so it gets a shot from the 98. So Thompson right behind Vadnais. Oh, it just gets sent down. Oh, and then straight back up. Oh, that's such a high-speed accident. There's nowhere for the 28 to go. 51 gets turned around and collects the 21 once again. A couple of drivers do his little bit of dirt track driving. Quite a good move by the 91. They've been there before, able to maybe pick up some pointers on how to make it through that without getting too much damage. But that is absolutely, I mean, that's probably day done for at least a couple of drivers. I'll just see what we hear. But again, the 91 at the bottom left, very close. Or the 81, apologies. Very close call. And the driver's just trying to get back up onto the track, trying to climb that hill. Yeah, just brutal. Oh, that was a close call as well there, Zach. It's pandemonium.
I mean, it looks like a stoppage on the freeway just basically happened there down in turn 3 and 4. We'll pick up the race leaders, though, under pacing. And we'll give you updates on who's out of the race and who's still in it. You see one car going to get their lap back. It looks like that's the 90 machine on the high side. Couple drivers down on pit road. There's the 13. and some more fixing their damage. We'll see if their day is done. No one has left the session yet, but we're going to pick up the race leaders as they make their way down onto pit road. And Dave Allen is out in the 31 machine, but here is your race leader, the 014 of Zach Domer. Coming down, we'll see if they put tires on. You're 41 laps into the race. Not a lot of drivers have taken tires, maybe, except the guys that maybe spun out, had some flat spots on their tires. There's the tires on the right side for Domer. We'll see if they go around and do the lefts as well. They do. The 091 just getting fuel, it looks like. So James, some interesting strategy calls here on pit road.
Yeah, again, it's a majority of the field are not taking 4 so far. We'll have to see if this is the moment. So McCoy's on 4, Robinson's on 4. Saw Domer only 11 seconds, so not quite sure about that one. That'd be quite a quick stop if so.
We're going to send it aside to a quick break here under caution. You're watching the George & Co. Heat and Air Cooling or Conditioning 225 at Daytona for the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, folks.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway here on Precision Entertainment. It's the George & Co. Heating and Air Conditioning 225 at Daytona for Major League Sim Racing A Open Series action here on this fine Sunday night from Daytona. I'm Zach Case alongside James Noon, Bradley Cooper in the booth, or in the producing chair in the booth. We're going to have a lot of fun here. We're about 43 laps clicked in to this one out of 90 total. No stage racing here tonight for Major League Sim Racing. Should be a fun rest of your way. We just had the big one, folks, so let's give you some updates on some of the drivers that may be out of this one. We talked about it earlier. Christopher Reel and Dave Allen, 26 laps down right now. Jason Krocecki, 11 laps down. Essenberg still on the racetrack. A couple other drivers, though, some big names. Ethan Thompson involved in the last one. Adam Ramsey, who was up front, also involved in the last part of the action. So we'll see here who gets back onto the racetrack. Lights are out on the pace car, though. James, what's the breakdown? We're almost halfway through this one. We know what's at stake. We've seen the racing so far on track. What are you doing here for the final 45 laps?
Well, it seems like, and obviously this isn't a bulletproof strategy, but if I'm the crew chief, I'm seeing the accidents are happening around the top 10, maybe like up to about 7th. That might be about as high as I've seen. Top 6, I've not seen anything that has been spicy that hasn't been racing. We've seen a handful of 3 wide and 2.5 wides. We've seen all sorts of stuff, and it's all been happening just behind the lead pack, which again I'd call maybe like the top 8 or so. So trying to get myself above that watermark, not trying to win it now, but trying to stay out of trouble.
Base car will pull off here at Daytona. We're going to be back to green flag racing here. The 091 got a good jump on that. We'll see if he, I don't know, maybe is the control car, or maybe also has some problems there, maybe a black flag possibly, but he'll come down in front of Zach Domer, excuse me, working into the corner. Those two will get hooked right back up together like they were on lap 1. As the 091 works his way off of turn 2. Everyone's single file through the top 10 right now. You see Mikey Robinson back there getting down into line. As you see, Matthews also working the top there. That's also Sean Hook. We haven't talked about him much so far tonight. Racing in all 3 series so far. Had a good debut on Tuesday night in the C Open Series with a P3 finish. And Sean doing a great job now on the bottom, working his way into the 8th position. There it is, the onboard camera. You see him, calm, cool, and collective, James, in the cockpit.
Yeah, especially with the likes of Robinson on our right side. So again, it's so tricky to see, and that car is still there, most likely on the high side. So car right, car on your outside. And now they're going to fall by the wayside. Robinson taking the air off of the rear, but Sean's wise to it. Going to be doing that all evening long. The 88 Chili's machine had a pretty rough time in that middle of that 3-wide incident we saw earlier on, kind of getting collected in that first big one that we had. We've had a couple of pretty serious incidents. And the 88, again, glad to see them with paint on the car, and glad to see them, as you said, calm, cool, and collected.
James, would you say he's riding the Dente?
I would say so. I had to probably have to Google it, but it looks quite good. No.
James, I wish you you're gonna have to look that up later. I'm not that big of a Carson Hocevar fan, but riding the Dente, definitely a cool thing to do, and I would say James Hook is doing that right now as he works his way on the bottom side, staying in line. He's gonna get shuffled out of the top 10. Right there is the high side now. It's gonna get that run that we talked about. We see it so often. Matthews, one of the pushers there. We'll see if they go 3 wide up front, though. A little checkup. There is the checkup on the outside line. Hook, gonna say hooked up to the bottom. He'll go right around him there. So staying out of trouble is that 88 machine of Sean Hook. But it's side-by-side racing at the front. You see a little bit of damage there, too, from a few of the drivers deeper in the field. But back up front, it's the 091. Chinook, Domer, McCook, Powell, and McCoy. What a top 5 right now. They're working their way off of turn 2, back onto the super stretch here at Daytona. The 14 now, the 3rd car in line. You see Powell hung up on the outside. We'll see if he gets any support here. It looks like he will. He gets a nice shove in the back end there of that Chevy machine, and they will move forward. That's the 4 of Jared Essenberg, up plenty positions right now. One of the brothers from Great Lakes Racing. As the 4 machine works to the outside. The 2nd car in line there. 5 cars up front on the high side right now. We'll see if Powell can get shoved up to the lead. He's on the outside right now of that 14 machine of McCook. We'll see what happens here with the 92. Good run on the bottom. There's some nose damage there from the 26 machine of McCoy as well. Something to make a note on later in.
Absolutely. Well, I would say that there's nose damage, and then there's completely concave. Oh, speaking of the completely concave nose, the 4 into the wall, into the side of Robinson. That's Essenberg on. Oh, and now gets spit out right in front of the 9. Extremely close call, and still doesn't have a handle on it. Oh, and gets collected by the 72 as well as a perfect T-bone. That is absolute mayhem for the 4. As you said, was up 25 or so positions and is now running. Are they running? Is that right front even attached? Yes, it is.
I would say that's
right
the commentator's curse right there. That is definitely the commentator's curse for Jared Essenberg, the 4 machine getting pushed up into the wall. I think Robinson was a part of that. Here's the race replay. Yep, car high. The 4 comes up to block. And Robinson's already there, and you're going to see the 4 drag it off of them. They get hooked up. They're going to grab another one there. Pandemonium on the backstretch going into turn 3. That's going to collect a couple drivers there. See Robinson able to get away. Here's another replay. On board with Essenberg. There's the car high right there. That's the 18. He's going to try to drag it off him. They're connected right now. As he drags it off him, he's going to find the 28 of Wilson, it looks like, who gets spun around, chewed up, spit back out. James, break this down. It's so hard pack racing here at Daytona, especially when you have cars moving as they do.
Oh, so Robinson's trying to go 3 wide and has the front end next to the rear axle of the 4. And as you said, just trying to peel off of the wall. So Robinson able to make a move around the outside. And then we're basically trying to come in and block, but physically it's too late. As Robinson's already there, so we're kind of stuck, right? You're obviously 3 wide in the middle. You're kind of at the mercy of the other drivers. You can go forward and backward. Obviously, you don't want to be going backward if you can help it, but especially with the fact that we're over halfway distance, right? The cement is setting. So you want to make sure that you're in, as we spoke about earlier, those thresholds. You want to try to make sure that you are where you want to be for a good look at the win. Because again, I can't imagine that the person leading on lap 80 is going to be the person that's going to lead on lap 90. If anything, I would say the chances of you leading lap 90 and winning the race are probably slim. I think famously Dale Earnhardt trying to win the Daytona 500, and they would basically talk about all the different laps that Dale had led up to a certain amount up until that final lap, and that was the only one that Dale hadn't led up until that event. As we're seeing all these stricken cars.
Yeah, just to make a note there, James, Rush Marciniak, one of the lead lap cars, he will get the lucky dog. So put him back up one spot there. We'll see if he gets back on the lead lap. He's 7 laps down right now. So that just shows you all the drivers involved in that wreck. If you were going to be the lucky dog, if you have an incident point during that caution at some point on iRacing, they move it down to the next guy in line. And Marciniak, the guy that gets a lap back here on this one, so we'll see him pace around. 41 laps to go here, just over halfway on Precision Entertainment. This is the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. Here is your race leader. It's the 091 right now. That is Joshua Chinook doing a great job. 2 drivers that have been in the front for a majority of the race, the 091 and the 0114 of Zach Domer. We'll see if we can tag a driver here under caution. Let's bring someone up. Let's find someone. James, I'm going to let you take it away real quick while I hunt for a driver to interview.
Absolutely. Again, having a look at some of the leading lights at the sharp end. So we see the packed grandstands here. And speaking of packed, again, we have over 30 drivers in the field. And we've got a handful of drivers that really, frankly, do not respect qualifying positions. You've got Herrera, McCook, Breland, Wise, all around 20. Brad Harris up 18 spots. JJ Pope has been up 17 spots perpetually. The 82 has been at least in the top 10 for a majority of the event, having qualified seemingly unrepresentatively further back. Now the grid begins to form up 2 by 2.
As we form up 2 by 2 here, we're gonna grab a driver. Russ Marciniak, you got a copy?
Hey, well, you guys up in the booth, yeah?
We are up in the booth. How's it going, brother? You just got the lucky dog there on that last caution. You're still a couple laps down, but how's the car and how you doing in there?
Car feels good. I just got caught up in that little wreck early on. I think with Manila and whatever. I was behind it. Couldn't get away from it. Now I'm out here just trying to help the guys.
Being a team player, is there any strategy talk in the Discord voice channels right now?
I think constantly. We're always talking.
Well, we'll let you go back and talk. We appreciate you joining us in the booth, and maybe get some more laps back, brother. You got this.
Hey, we're going to keep plugging away.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, Russ doing a good job here tonight. A couple laps down. We'll see if he can get everything back in order. James, I think the biggest thing, another restart here. We've seen plenty so far this evening.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always interested in when they go in the restart zone. So obviously there's a section of track just before the stripe. Be able to see it on the right-hand side on the wall, and we'll be able to have a look at when the driver goes, whether it's early, late. They can basically go whenever they want in this spot. It looks like they go very early, so the 91, as you can see, great vantage point. So the jump happens, and as soon as they're able, they let it fly.
Yeah, we're back to green flag racing here for the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. The 091 was the control car on the outside. Here's your inboard camera, or onboard camera, with Hook there on the outside. He's going to get left out to dry. it looks like a little bit. So he will be the lead car. We'll see if everyone stays in line behind him. He's going to get that side draft on the back stretch working towards his favor. A couple drivers now peel up with him. 3 drivers on the top, everyone down on the bottom. 52 laps in here for the 90-lap race at Daytona for the A Open Series. And what a shove there from the 91. As Joshua Wise pushes up and goes down low. And gets back in the line on the bottom. Another lap's going to get clicked away here as Hook's going backwards.
Yeah, falling like a stone at the moment. The high side is not where you want to be. And speaking of high side, Powell in the 92 is now we have a interesting little gaggle at the front. Powell in the 92 was the leader right before we had that incident on the high side, at least. And the 92 has been very high side dependent. And now are they going to go for it? They do not. They're going to stay down low. But really early on, Zach, if we remember, the 92 was leading that charge on the high side, couldn't get anywhere past 7th or 8th. And now looking like they have joined the crew of the inside lane. And as I say it, right to the outside, Powell trying to look. This is the 3rd time that they've looked really strong on the outside, but they're all by themselves.
Yeah, the biggest thing here, James, is right now you're 54 laps in. You're just seeing who's going to want to go up top with you, right? You can afford to lose a couple spots, but the side draft working to the 92's favor, maybe a check up on the bottom. Here comes the race lead and the battle for the 92. He's going to do it by himself. Here comes the 7 into frame. That's Matthews getting a shove from the 91 of Joshua Wise. And here comes the 7 pushing right up to the 92's back bumper. Side-by-side racing once again here at Daytona for the race lead. We'll see if Powell can do anything. Does he have anything for the 091 or for Domer there in P2? All over the back bumper is Matthews. This time by, though, it's going to go back to the 091 of Chinook.
Our producer, Bradley Cooper, giving us an absolute jump scare as the 7 was on the way. We cut to the rear bumper at the 92 for that shove. Fantastic scenes as we have a serious battle for the lead. We're not quite there yet, but again, Powell, hard outside contender. And we have Matthews giving some of the biggest shoves. Now, again, tucks to the inside. The 92 is out by itself. And Chinook and Domer absolutely impervious at this stage. It looks like they're both happy to be where they are. The 91 taking the punishment. And the 014 looking quite good ahead of the 14. McCook getting involved at the sharp end. And yeah, that outside line is nowhere at the moment. So the question is, when do you make a new outside line? As we see there, Joshua Wise, fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Joshua Wise going purple there. I think the biggest thing for the 091 and the 014 there is just controlling the race. Everyone's single file all the way back in the top 10 and more. Maybe the top 15, maybe even the top 20. Remember, 35 cars started this race. We've lost a handful already due to some of the big ones that led to some cautions here, but now 56 laps in. The biggest question, James, is how long does it take for the guys that want to ride around to get anxious maybe and want to go to the top?
Yeah, it almost seems like a piece of meat is kind of dangling there. You know, if you just sit here and you're thinking, okay, all right, I'm, you know, on board here looking at about maybe 11th or so. The 43 coming into frame. The 92 there. Powell, Christopher Toppings in there as well. 10th, 11th, and 12th having a look at. You're thinking, all right, I'm not going to win it from 11th. I can get up into the fray, but how do I get there? And basically, while you're going 190 plus miles an hour, and there we go. Looks like potentially, I think it's McCoy trying to go to the outside. Oh, apologies, that's Matthews trying to make a move around the outside. And again, just goes completely backwards. So you step out of line. It's almost like a current. You step out of line, and you just get pulled by the air. And there's no help on the outside. This is just a single file race at this point.
Yeah, the choo-choo train working their way into turn 1 and 2. The biggest thing right now is, where does everyone like to go? We got a nice chat here from our producer. I always wonder what happened to my dad, Adam Renzi, after he left. Apparently, sim racing. Wow. Okay, we'll give it to you there. The Patriot. We appreciate the donation there in the YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone watching here on Precision Entertainment. It's been a lot of fun so far for the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. A couple drivers working on the top, but the biggest thing, James, is if you go to the top and you have some aero damage on that front end, it's going to be that drag and that current is going to work against you.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of helping. Hey, guess what? It's the 7 shoving somebody here. You see the Jimmy Broadbent, please no Punterino on the rear of the Mustang in front. And my goodness me, again, this is not easy at all. We are flying around Daytona, 190 plus. We cannot see a thing. We are trusting that the car in front, we're basically looking through 2 different windshields trying to drive this car. Cars on our left who are actually overtaking us, and the car in front is just wildly swinging from side to side because we're giving them an extra couple of miles an hour at least. This is just the most insane kind of draft fest here. And obviously, Daytona is the place for this. And now the 7 almost underneath the apron, Zach. My goodness, that was a wild look.
That was a wild push there, too. We know the 7's a pusher. We've seen it all night long. Joshua Wise is going to shove himself into line in front of Powell there. That got a little antsy, and that's going to back up a couple drivers. And I think the biggest thing is, and we're going to get a replay here from the 91. Look at the 91 on the top, right? Got to find a spot to get in line. We talk about the current. Well, here's the current. Yep, and I'm just going to say, hey, thank you very much. Let me get in here, and the 92 thinks better of it. Backs off a little bit, but that's the dicey racing we've seen, and more action up front. There's the 91. Some nose damage there from Powell, it looks like, from that shove. So that's going to be something to watch, James. The nose damage on the 92 right now. He was one of the favorites up front all night long.
Yeah, we talk about how these cars can really take some serious punishment, especially on the short tracks. I think
Look at the nose
really
damage there.
Yeah, it's so bad. But here, these might as well be Indy cars with the amount of aero dependency you have, trying to stay tucked, trying to stay healthy. Just keep the car in a good window. And I think they might have just gotten worse there for the 92. And it's almost concave at this point. That's gonna take some doing when it comes to either the pit stop trying to get that fixed or something. Yeah.
It's like an MMA fight. Just the center punch there on the nose. You see the 91 go to the inside there. Around it looked like Pope maybe. So Pope gonna fall back in line in that 82 machine. I think the biggest thing is everyone just sorting out and playing it safe. But Wise is one of those drivers in that 91 that wants to just go straight to the front, and he's doing it. If you're gonna give him maybe a half of inch on the bottom, he's going to take it, right? A half a lane, maybe a little bit more, and he's going to the inside. You got to stay above that yellow line, though, James. That's the biggest thing. You go below that, you advance your position, and you're getting race control involved on that one.
Yeah, and again, it's the effect of the elevator doors are closing whenever you get out to the outside. Obviously, the inside seems favorable at the moment, and will most likely continue throughout the night. Oh, look at all the crud. I love seeing that on a race car. All of the junk that just gets picked up from you battling it out. See all the cars in the showroom. They're perfectly spotless. Give me a car filled with Florida bugs on the front. And, of course, that also happens when you lead a whole bunch, right? You know, if you're tucked in behind somebody else, you may not have as many bugs, but you can kind of wear that with pride. You know, I led a handful of laps, and it got a bunch of bugs on my car. So it's always kind of cool to see that little detail. The top 3 here, Zach, seem like they are together. It's actually becoming a quartet with McCoy bringing up the rear of the front, if that even makes any sense.
Yeah, one thing to make a note there. YouTube chat looking for Christian Barnes. We'll go find him. Currently 19th, just made a move. He's going to be up to P18 now. P17 actually, riding on the bottom, so making some headway every once in a while, getting around a driver. And that's the biggest thing there for the Domino's Pizza entry. That 27 machine, just trying to be fast with the pizza and fast in the car as well and get back up to the front. So a little nose damage there, a little crinkle, but it doesn't. Yeah, the problem is it's not that hard, but unfortunately 27 laps to go. That's going to be roughly 15 minutes here in the sim. So laps winding down here at Daytona. They're going to come up to a lap car though, back up front with the leaders. Like I said, single file racing action. We'll see if pit strategy comes into play. We'll see if everyone's good on fuel. Remember, everyone's at a different fuel level, right? Depending on when you're pitting. As you see the race leaders work around the lap car there. Chinook, Domer, McCook, McCoy, and May, your top 5 right now. Sean Hook on the outside looking in right now in P6. He's got Josh Wise all over the back bumper there coming out of turn 2. He gets it pointed in the right direction though. There's Powell as well pushing another car into Wise. That's Pope in the 82, so everyone's getting a little frantic there inside the top 10, and James, from experience, I don't know how well that's going to work out.
Yeah, this is really starting. Basically, people are getting spat out figuratively here. Looking at the 91 again, they're just trying to get in the elevator. Just let me in. Just try to shove your arm. And here now, this is gonna be interesting. The 92 potentially not letting the 91 in, and now gonna go high side. So Powell, surprise, surprise, with another attempt at the high side. Again, the confidence building. Oh, and now gonna tuck back in, just trying to look for the toe, and still just stuck out on the far side.
Yeah, the 91
is
nowhere
really
to
starting
go
to get
right
antsy.
now. Yeah, it's getting antsy for sure, James. And that's the biggest thing right now is everyone wants to get to the front. Caution on the racetrack, though. We'll go find that one. It looks like it's deeper in the field. One car around. Maybe it was, there it is right there. It looks like some contact maybe. We'll get a replay on it. 25 laps to go. There was a car leaving pit road, so it could have been a car leaving pit road, but there it is. There's the replay. Plenty of action deeper in the field. The 21 involved, the 64 involved. As the 21's gonna back it in. Oh, hard lick there on the back end of that entry.
Oh, here we go. So this is the pack further back. Basically, this is kind of where you get separated. Oh, it's just 3 wide, then they get the right quarter panel, or just barely the right quarter panel. So that was a 64. Kind of having a little bit of a nibble. 21, I didn't see if 21 was coming up the track or not, so this will give us a much better view here from the far. Actually, the best view. We're gonna get a little bit of shot. Kind of going slow, looking for the draft of the 21 potentially. Oh no, we're just gonna go 3 wide, 21. Try to see who is holding their line and who potentially maybe wasn't able to get that slowed all the way down. Still in 5th gear for the 64, so good thing they didn't stall that out. But yeah, so risky pushing. As soon as we get the speed, we have the overlap. And the 21 maybe trying to come over to the side. It's hard to tell there. And a good job again, those aero spoilers deploying, keeping the car from literally taking off, spinning over, but not from taking a T-bone from the 10.
Yeah, if you want to take off, the airport's actually right behind the backstretch, but we're not doing that today. We're sim racing. So Adams able to lock that thing down. We're going to go back up to the point, though. Leaders are on pit road. It's the 091, Joshua Chinook. And we talked about the fuel strategy being involved. That caution might have saved some drivers. And there's the race on pit road right now. It's the 091 in front of the 014. Both drivers started on the front row, so they're going to make the slow trek all the way down. We'll make sure everyone hits their marks into the pit stop. 091 gets it backed in. Tires going up both sides here. Interesting strategy call. We'll see if anyone takes fuel only. 4 tires and fuel for your race leaders right now. Car's going to beat them out. It looks like McCook. Is it McCook there in the 14?
Looks like it.
So McCook going to win the battle off of pit road there. Maybe didn't take tires. So an interesting strategy call with 23 laps to go. But James, that's the biggest thing right now. The strategy differences on pit road playing a factor into track position.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that McCook didn't take the same strategy as the other two. So basically the top 3, who are now 3rd, 4th, and 5th, basically reversed. My thinking is, regardless of which order those 3 come out in, they seem very comfortable with each other. They seem like they're both running a similar style of race. They don't seem to be jockeying for position the way the other drivers are, which is obviously going to keep them in the race till the end and trying to pull a gap on the rest of the field is the intention. It seems like they're kind of in there a little bit of a club. But I think that whether it's the 91, whether it's the 014 or the 14, I don't think it would matter so much for me who is leading, as long as one of us is leading and the other 2 are 2nd and 3rd. It seems like they've kind of got what they need to run really, really well. And you'll see it a lot, specifically in karting, when it comes to try to turn the race from a 20-car battle for the lead to a 2 or 3-car battle for the lead. Just basically run away at the front, see what you can do, and with 4 or 5 laps to go, then you can pull the pin. Then we can start fighting, the gloves come off, and you can kind of start going for it. So I think that those top 3 would be really suited to kind of continue. So to see McCook not do the same strategy, apparently, means that trio becomes a duo. And I guess that's good for the other 2, but for McCook, I feel like they may have taken themselves out of a late race run.
We'll see what happens here. You're listening to James Noon talk our way through the caution laps. I'm Zach Case here in the broadcast booth for Precision Entertainment. You're watching Major League Sim Racing right now as we are lights out on the pace car. Plenty of drivers taking some damage and staying on their laps. I would say maybe a handful, 10, 15 cars beat the pace car out of pit road. 1 driver getting their lap back. That was Jared Essenberg there in the 4. A couple other drivers having to come back down pit road to get fuel. But right now, let's break down your top 10. Chasen McCook with the pit strategy. He will be your race leader in the 14 machine, sponsored by American Sim Racer. To the outside of him, it's the 014 of Zach Domer. And then the last race leader, prior to the pit stops, in 3rd, Joshua Chinook, and we saw him work really well with Zach Domer there. McCoy going to be in 4th, Gary May, Sean Hook, Joshua Wise, Pope, Matthews, and Kelch there, rounding out your top 10. So it's going to be very interesting here. Don't go anywhere if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate you all tuning in. But James, quickly, what's the biggest factor here? 22 laps ago. We're going to be 21 laps ago when we go green. What's the strategy? Get to the front as quickly as possible or hang back for the big one?
I think find the guys that you trust. Find the guys you've been racing with the whole night. Anybody that you like. I know it's kind of a strong word, but anybody that you are willing to go 22 laps with, try and work together. And then again, on the last 2 laps, I think anything's going to happen.
Well, we're going to see here who is your friend and who is your enemy. 22 laps to go for the A Open Series. We're going to come to green flag once again in the tri-oval. The 14 is going to take off on the bottom. Green, green, green once again here on Precision Entertainment. And we're racing here at Daytona. McCook on the bottom with the run. You're going to see the 014 and the 091 get hooked up together. Do they leave the 14 hanging out to dry here? The push there from Zach Domer. Will they wait for the backstretch? We will see. There it is. There's your onboard camera off the rear end there of the race leader of the 14. They're going to get down on the apron a little bit, get it all sorted out. It looks like Zach Domer there going to stay right locked in with Chasen McCook. 186 miles per hour and climbing. A couple drivers slower in the field. 2x2 action though. Sean Hook hung out to dry once again. Deeper in the field there. He's on the outside of Powell as they make their way through turn 3 and 4 once again. One more time around. And we'll see 20 laps to go this time by. A couple drivers coming to pit road there, but everyone kind of sorting out. The biggest question is, James, when do you go to the top and how early is it going to come?
Well, I think the trick is going to be, it can be too late, obviously. You can basically run out of time on the way there, but it only takes a lap to get up maybe 3-4 spots. The trick is going to be, if somebody goes early, who's it going to be and where are they in relation to you? If they are right in front of you, you may need to go with them to try and preserve any hope of basically kind of an all or nothing strategy. McCook and Domer are inseparable at this point. If McCook can hang on at the front, I think they both have a really good shot. And I think that neither of them are really going to want anybody else to try to spoil the party. I think that Chinook is available, but these top 2 are clearly working together. I think that the high side is going to be coming from somebody maybe 8 and further back as Domer gives another shot at the leader.
They're going to work their way one more time through turn 1 and 2. The high banks of Daytona, 31 degrees there in the corners. Everyone sorted single file right now through the field. They're going to fly by us here on the backstretch. The next gen's roaring on by here at Daytona. McCook leading the way. There's one car out of line. We'll see if they elect to go to the top and anyone goes with them. Deeper in the field there's another pack of cars, maybe some damage for the 4390 and the 4. They're in turn 3 and 4 right now, coming onto the front stretch, so a little farther back in the field. We'll go back up to the race lead, though. Pope to the outside in that 82 machine, hung out to dry. And you said it earlier, it's like a rock falling down a cliff. There he goes backwards, the 82 machine, James.
Yeah, and it is not easy. I've been saying it all night. It's not easy to even just stay in line, right? You got somebody coming from the rear. Oh, that was very close as well. You have somebody on the way from the rear trying to shove you through the air, and just being, you know, competitively battered that way. It can be so hard to keep hold of the front end when the rear end is all over the place. You also have the aero wash, basically removing the air. As we're going to replay here. Oh, so close. The margins are getting closer, Zach. They are really starting to lean on each other, and that was quite the moment.
I'm pretty happy I'm up in here in the booth. That was a little too close for me.
Yeah.
But overall, 17 to go here on Precision Entertainment. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's going to get racy, and it's already racy towards the front. Another car out of line. Up on the high side, one more joining them. That's Corey Powell in the 92, trying to form that second lane inside the top 10. We'll see if Matthews is going to go. But the biggest thing, James, you see the damage on the 92. How hard is it to be the lead guy getting pushed here with damage on the front end?
Very, very difficult. The 92 is confident in that high side, but I just don't see it working. We saw it right at the beginning as well. Have a look here. Christian Barnes trying to help out on the high side. They don't really have anything to lose at the moment. The 27, a top 10 contender, no matter what series they are running. And Barnes trying to make it a race on the high side. Matthews sticking with their teammate McCoy down low. Matthews is going to be to our left, McCoy to our front left. Try to tuck in behind 46 just in front. And this is really, I mean, at this point, oh, and a big moment there. 99.
Yeah, big. A lot of cars around, 92 around. This is going to be one of the bigger ones here with 16 laps to go. This will bring out the caution once again. And that was right inside the top 10 there. The 92 spinning out down on the apron. He'll get it slowed down. But wow, that was what we were talking about, folks. It was getting racy, and here it is. There's the replay. The 91 around pushes everyone up. The 7 into the 91, the 46 involved, the 27 getting it slowed down, though, to stay out of it. But James, break the replay down. It was just pandemonium at the front.
Well, right now it's fine. Let's have a look here. So we've got the 46 giving a little bit of a shot to the, so the 91 trying to get back in line. So the 26, good run on the inside. Again, the inside line has the grip. Oh my goodness, car's getting taken out. The inside line has the grip and is the shortest way around the track. So as you go through the corner, even with these enormous and banked corners, you will gain a bit of position. Yeah, we're just trying to come back in line. Relatively predictable, but that doesn't mean that we have to move out of the way. And now we're just heading the wrong way up the track. And as you said there, Zach, again, another big one. We've had the big three almost in this event. And again, it just seems like that 8, 9, 10 spot seems to be where things start kicking off. It seems like the spot where drivers really want to pop out, right? The fourth place driver, third place driver, second place driver, they don't want to pop out of the slipstream. They're happy with their spot. They think they might be able to win it from there. You know, the final lap, they'll get a big push and do what they can right at the line. But when you're 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, you're kind of looking over the shoulders of the people in line in front of you thinking, I got to do something now, right? The complexion of the race is really setting. And I think that there's a combination of nerves, a combination of strategy, right? This is a chess match. This is not just I'm going to go faster than you. This is a positioning. It's extremely complicated. And it really takes every bit of concentration to know who you're racing, how they've been racing, what the tendencies are. And again, we talk about thresholds. Am I at my threshold? Am I in 15th by by half the race distance? With 20 to go, am I 6th or so? And if not, you're trying to just shove your way through as best you can. And when they're all in a line like that, it kind of creates some desperation.
I think the biggest thing there, we saw it on the replay, that was Mike McCoy in the 26 that got under the bottom side of Joshua Wise in the 91, and The 91 tried to come down, get back in line, and unfortunately the 26 was there. One car got the lucky dog there. That was the 24. So he will get a lap back. 14 laps to go here on Precision Entertainment. It's that case of James Noon up in the booth. Your Sunday night show for Major League Sim Racing, the A Open Series. And this is going to be a fun one to close out. I think the biggest thing here is who has damage, who doesn't have damage, where's the run going to come from? Are you going to see the 014 and the 91 of Joshua Chinook stay together? Are they going to leave McCook out to dry there? Currently your race leader, that's Chasen McCook. He's McCookin, I would say, under caution, riding behind the pace car. So we'll go one more time around. He'll pick what side he wants. Does he want the top or the bottom? And James, based on who you have behind you, I would say he's probably going to choose the bottom.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm thinking about this, if I'm the 014 or the 91, I'm probably staying on the bottom too. Even if that puts me, you know, if this trio is first, third, and fifth, they're going to be first, second, and third if they continue to work together like this. This trio really, again, at the moment, right? Anything can change anytime. It really is going to be a case of just trying to stick together. I think that there's a bond that's formed between the top three, which will of course be broken right at the line, right? This is still the drivers as the 014 to the outside. So maybe they're assuming that the 14 is going to get a good jump. There'll be some space, and they're going to continue trying to work together. But yeah, Zach, I think that these top three have the best shot. I haven't seen anything because they're playing ball so well with each other. I have not seen any of the three really show something that's gonna indicate to me that, you know, this one's gonna stab the other one in the back, or you know, however you want to look at it. I think that it's just gonna be very, very interesting which of those three is gonna get the best run, and who's the dark horse, I guess, is the other question.
I'll give you a dark horse right now. Gary May up 22 spots right now in that 9 machine. He's P4. A guy that's raced all week long here for Speed Weeks for the Major League Sim Racing. And I mean, we saw it on Thursday night. There was a favorite. There was a favorite team. They worked together all night long. Then Spectre Speed came out of nowhere at the end there with almost a green-white checkered race format to the line, and they were able to get it done, right? So we've seen the dominance there from Domer, right? From McCook now. From Chinook too, right? But can it be someone else, maybe farther in the top 10, that gets back up front and to get around these top three? And I think the biggest thing right now is if you're the 091, you want to hang back a little bit. You want the 14 to go, and you want to get Zach Domer down into the bottom line, and you want to get paired up together, right? You talked about it already. That's the trio that's been working recently in the second half of this race. And guess what, folks? Green flag racing just moments away. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to do it one more time here. 13 laps coming to 12 laps to go. Here's the view coming to the tri-oval. Will the 14 go? He does. Green, green, green. We're off and away once again. And a good line there for Zach Domer to get in, or Domer, excuse me, to get in line. He does. So the top three trio breaking away once again. Gary May getting hung out. Everyone getting to the bottom there. There's the 27 of Barnes. We talked about him earlier. Deep in the field, he's able to get back into the top 10. So put Barnes up to P6, Wilson and P5. May able to get down in line. And up on the high side, we see the second line working its way in on the backstretch. And we'll see what that does. Obviously, it's going to break up a couple drivers. The 26 machine still in the hunt. He was just in your last caution. There's Wise behind him. So those two guys link back up together once again. On board now with the 27 of Christian Barnes, working their way off of turn 4, back onto the front stretch, heading into the tri-oval. 12 laps to go. It's going to be 11 laps to go. McCook is McCooking at the front of the field. It's all McCook and Chasen doing a great job right now leading the field into turn 1.
Yeah, they're all chasing him at the moment. And Domer, again, playing ball. Chinook, brutal from Barnes. They had to do it there. Now getting overtaken from the drivers on the high side that they basically abandoned. And now here we go. This is the first of the trio to try to have a look, and they back off. So that was Chinook in the 091. Just having a bit of a look, trying to see if there's anything to this outside run as we have Harris on the way. May's getting overtaken by Brayland. who is up by more than anyone else in the field. And that high side now seems to be the new hot thing. I don't know if they have enough. It's almost 10 to go here. Into turn 1. They're riding on board the high sides. This is Braylon in the 11, trying to get 4 cars in a row. Oh, and now look at this. McCook gets taken for a ride, metaphorically. And now the high side. Oh, we have a big accident.
Going into turn 3, 11 the round. There's the 28 involved. They're going to spin to the apron, into the grass there in turn 3. And you saw the lights come on. The caution is out once again. We just talked about Breland doing a great job, the biggest mover, and he gets caught up in someone else's mess there. As you saw the 014 go up, you saw the 091 go up. They left McCook out to dry. The 67 there down. And here's your replay, James. Break it down here. Coming on to the backstretch, you see everyone move up, and this is where commotion begins.
Yeah, trying to see where the overlap is. Oh, so the 11 got a good push from the 67. So basically the 11's about to be overtaken. And it looked like they were decent on the 20. So the 28's trying to come over to the right. That's the main thing for this here. So you can look at the 28 trying to come over to the right. And these shots show how crazy it is. Again, the spoilers deploying everybody up into the wall there.
Yeah, Harris got a good shove there, and that obviously caused the commotion. And there it is, right? You see the 11 get pushed, you see the 67 involved, and it's a hard lick there for that 67 machine into the outside wall. A tough break for Harris there, running really well inside the top 10, and everyone turned into a parking lot. There he is, though. Harris sitting on pit road, 9 laps to go under caution. New race leader, though, James. It's Zach Domer.
Yeah, Zach Domer hits the front. And McCook was part of that trio, which I believe is now turned into a duo. Interested to see what the 091 thinks about that. McCook again. McCook still in the hunt, and of course, I'm sure they'd offer to let him push one of them across the line to take the win. I don't think that's out of the question there. Oh man, this really is starting to heat up, and they're coming more and more frequently. These incidents, we'll say, as we just see. Look at the sheer size of this racetrack. 2.5 miles. Again, as you've mentioned, there's exactly the tri-oval. And just what a spectacle, what a backdrop for just another fantastic race here. Drivers, again, pushing these cars right to the limit. And as we've spoken about at length, these drivers, yes, they're leaving their right foot down. And yes, they're turning to the left, but the car is never comfy. If you took the car around a lap by itself, you would enjoy driving it. It'd be kind of a lot of fun. When you're in a pack, when you can't see, when the car can't breathe, when it's constantly floaty and loose, and then you go into the corner, it gets tight, and then you have somebody, basically 3 wide, it can just get so difficult to try and hold on to these cars. So the driver's right up at the front, as you see again, the 014 has been wiggling every time you come to a restart, has just been trying to warm those tires up or get ready to go here. It looks like the pace car lights are still on at the moment. Maybe going out here in just a second. Have to see. But
yeah, we'll go one more time around, James. Why not? Good breakdown there from you. Thanks for joining me here tonight in the booth for Precision Entertainment's presentation of the Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. It's the George & Co. Heating and Air Conditioning 225 here at Daytona. Like I said, I'm Zach Case alongside James Noon. Bradley Cooper, the man in the producer chair here tonight. But obviously, I think the biggest thing is if you need some heating and air conditioning, and especially if you're in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, I would definitely go over to George & Co. for all my heating and air conditioning needs. Give them a call. Look them up on Google. I'm sure they would happily take your business, right? You want to keep it calm, cool, and collective here in the summer months, and that's the biggest thing. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll see what the 014 likes to do, and there it is, George & Co. Heating and air conditioning. James, are you calm, cool, and collective here going into the final 8 laps?
Well, I thought I was, but now that you mentioned George and Co., I feel like I'm a little bit stuffy, so I may need to see about if everything is in order, and if it is not, obviously reaching out to them. I don't think that any of these top 4 are cool, calm, and collected. I think that we had a really long run where McCook was in the driver's seat of the race, and the other 2 were happy to follow them. I don't think that there's a single car on track here that is willing to follow anyone at this stage. There are a handful of laps, almost a single handful of laps, and this is going to be a completely different race. We're going to see drivers on both sides of the track, high side and low side. We're going to see drivers shuffling around, wiggling around. I would not be surprised with some 3 wide as well. Drivers trying to make up their minds how in the world they're going to get from a certain position.
James, I'm going to cut you off real quick. We got to take a look here at Robert Burke. Look at that button-up T-shirt he's got. He is calm, cool, and collected. Back in 24th. But I need to get that polo. Whatever that, the button-up, I need that for the summer months. We need to figure out where Robert Burke got that. James, is that your style?
It's an eagle with, is that a bandana?
I'm trying to zoom in. I got to get it a little bigger, but dude, the mustache, the glasses, the hat, he's ready to go. There he is, folks. Look, the USA, you know, why not? Very patriotic look here. Everyone getting jumbled up, though. It looks like we're coming back to green this time, so we'll see if everyone's in order the right way. No, he's locked in. That is a live shot, folks. Coming back to green here at the front of the field. And we're off and away. One more time. Give it to Zach Domer there. On the high side, going to jump down most likely in front of the 091. Wants to keep the 14 up top. We'll see if the 14 of Chasen McCook can get there. He's not. He's going to get pushed out. The 091 there of Chinook. Side-by-side racing, though, for second place. As McCook needs to find a spot on the bottom. Here comes Gary May. He's got hooked, lined up, and hooked on the bottom. Barnes is also in the picture. We're going to get spread out here on the backstretch, and this is Major League Sim Racing. This is what we want to see. Contact, though. They keep it together. As McCoy keeps it all lined up on the bottom, but that's McCook fading there in the center. Here comes the 72 of Joe Cohen. We haven't talked about him all night long. He's going to make the top side work. Car contact, though. He's going to shove it in the wall. He'll come down on the bottom. Everyone keeps it together. They'll make it through the tri-oval one more time. The race leaders make their way back into turn 1. Car into the outside wall hard. Hard contact there in the inner loop. Cars to the inside. Essenberg involved. That's Jared there in the 4. We'll see if the caution comes out. It looks like it is there. There is Jared Essenberg. 5 laps to go and caution back on the racetrack. And James, it's getting dicey inside the top 10 and everyone fighting for the same real estate. We'll throw it to a quick replay here. Break it down. What do you see as the pace car makes his way onto the stretch? But here's the replay.
Let's see. So we've got, again, we already have had the incident that got this thing kicked off. Obviously the 45 trying to keep their spot in line. We'll see what happened ahead. So almost a 3 wide incident. They're coming down into the 91, it looks like.
Yeah, that's Joshua Wise on the bottom of the 45.
Oh, what a huge shot there. 21 into the pit exit.
And that's Adam's
spot.
Wow.
Engine on board here. So again, the air constantly moving, and there's nothing you can do, right? You can't slam on the brakes. You can't just wildly wrench the wheel. The more you turn the wheel, the less that'll happen. If you just take that wheel and just whip it left, like you're, pulling your Civic out of, the supermarket or something, nothing's going to happen. The wheels are just going to straight, you're doing 190. Then nothing's going to happen at the front end of the car. Giving it a little bit of rotation is going to maybe ease it in, but that's how you collect somebody in your inside. It's so difficult at that speed. And I mean, even just up here trying to make sense of the incident is quite tricky when you have so many different factors going into the end of this race. The cement is almost set. This is this is exactly where these drivers need to be here. These top 3, top 4. Christian Barnes bringing up the rear of the 5 contenders that may have a really good look. And as we've said, the high side is is extremely potent at this point, right? The inside still is leading, but if enough people jump, you know, if you're the only person on the inside, then you got to figure something out.
I think the biggest thing there, James, is obviously keeping it all in the right direction, but everything happens in a split second, right? And that's the problem. It's a split-second decision. You're either going to get caught up in it, you're either going to get out of the way, or you're going to be a part of the wrecking crew that takes you off of the racetrack. And just trying to find some drivers, trying to find Gary May right now. I'm looking for him. I would love to talk to him, right? That's the biggest thing right now. Maybe we can get Christian Barnes up here. Let's dial in Christian Barnes, actually, James. How about that? Let's go find him. I got him somewhere. We'll see if we can dial him up here in the Precision Entertainment booth. For some reason, I can't drag him, unfortunately. So, Christian Barnes, we'll go look for Christian Barnes. I think the biggest thing, James, is the Domino's Pizza delivery mobile is doing a great job here tonight, and he's got some action, and he should get to the front. We'll see if that happens here in the final couple laps.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of paint still left on it. It's still usable. It's in the right direction. That's all you really need, right? And we were talking about, you know, crud on the front of a race car and how that can be kind of a cool symbol there. The 27 gets up to the front by the end of this one. So kind of a tall stretch considering how well the front has been working together. And of course we also saw McCook. That's probably the biggest story of that final sprint that we just saw, that final little bit of racing that we just picked up on. McCook back, so the number 14, not even getting picked up by the outside. And again, quite surprising that nobody was interested in helping. But when you lose 10 miles an hour, you know, 5-6 miles an hour, I don't want to shove you. You know, that's you know, potentially that could be dead weight, and I want to get my run. So it turns into 3 wide as McCook just falls, and nobody's willing to try and grab him by the collar and bring him back up.
We're gonna go lights out on the pace car right now. It's going to be a green-white checkered. Bradley Cooper breaking it down for us from the producing chair. It will be a green-white checkered. And no apologies needed, sir. You're doing a great job here tonight. James Newton, Zach Case, here in Precision Entertainment land at Daytona. The final 3 laps, a green-white checkered finish for our crew. And if you're new to iRacing, how this is basically going to work out is they're going to go in, or we're going to go green. And if we do not have a caution by the time that white flag is displayed, we will be racing the rest of the way. So 2 attempts here for the green-white checkered. Attempt number 1 is up. If we get a caution, stay on the backstretch, James, it's going to go one more time. We'll re-rack them, re-dice them one more time, put them 2 by 2, and we're going to try one more attempt. But if there's a caution on that second attempt before we get to the white flag, we'll end it under yellow. I think that's the biggest thing, James. How antsy do you get here in this green-white checkered attempt?
I mean, this is basically for the race, right? You need to get a good restart. You need to basically try to stay where you are for 1 and 2. On the back straight, we're going to see some wild stuff, but basically preserve your position through 1 and 2. Once you hit the back straight, look for an option. I think the inside is the only way to go. I can't imagine somebody winning it on the outside. I can imagine somebody coming from, you know, 10th to 3rd on the outside, but I would be very impressed if somebody wins it. But I have been proven wrong once or twice in my life.
Well, folks, here's one of the moments, the biggest one so far this race. We're going to come to green. Green-white checkered attempt number 1. Green, green, green once again. Everyone's off and away smoothly. The outside getting the run. Here comes Sean Hook, the 88 machine, trying to be the dark horse. Does he get to the inside? He's going to run the 091 off the track. He does. Sean Hook will make his way up to P2. He's going to break up the 014, the 091. Down into turn 1 and 2 and on to the backstretch. Remember, it's a green-white checkered. The next flag is going to be hopefully the white one. Car contact hard into the inside wall. One spinning. Does it bring out the yellow? They're off the racing surface and they point in the right direction. We're green still here at Daytona. That's Joe Cohen in the 72. Back up front, though. It's a 4-car breakaway. Zach Domer up front. Sean Hook bringing it up in P2. Gary May up here. Here comes the run from Barnes. Going to the white flag one more time around.
The 26 did not give any help to the 27, and now they're all kinds of squirrely. They're going to lose some ground. The top three are together. Barnes is now hung out to dry. I'm really interested in why they didn't try to go with Barnes around the outside, give him a bit of a chance. Now there's no chance for that car.
Another car around deeper in the field. They point in the right direction. There goes Hook. Car's outside. It's going to be Domer that's going to get away. Hook hard in the wall. Here comes the field. Remember, we're going back all the way to the front stretch. It's Zach Domer right now. McCook trying to get back to him. Gary May for P3 right now. Car to the outside. But here comes the 014 of Zach Domer. He's going to win the first race here for the A Open Series for Major League Sim Racing. Give it to Zach Domer. What a finish here at Daytona. As you see the tap on the side there, a couple drivers coming up to congratulate Zach Domer, doing a great job here tonight, dominating the race and able to survive as the fireworks go off on the backstretch. And James break down the finish. What a fun show here for the green-white checkered.
Yeah, it was so congested, and again, I was expecting that kind of action to be happening.
Here's your replay, James.
Yeah, we've got I think that riding the Dente may not be enough. So that's Conan in the wall there. So that's the 72.
Yep. So that was the first lap
out there. So we're heading to 3 for the first of 2 times, and we still have that top 4, and then the 27 of Barnes getting an enormous shot from the 26. Barnes trying to have a look around the outside. Nobody goes with him. Again, the 26 tucks inside. I was expecting the 26 to try to go with McCook, and nothing doing. 27 now fades. 26 all over the shop. You know, the 91 getting underneath, and the 11 gets scared up to the top. No air on the 11. Oh, and the 7. So Matthews able to right the ship, though. What a save by them, and then that's when it happens there. So that's going to be the 88 of Hook getting into it, and then McCook just finds himself in second, kind of all by their lonesome. And they basically just from there was just no way back, and the 014 was gone.
Well, there's your top 3 burning it down on the front stretch, and Domer gonna burn it down right now. His first win here in Major League Sim Racing A Open Series competition. And also your favorite, right? One of the favorites, doing a great job here tonight. He gets the job done. We're gonna step aside real quick here for a quick break, and we'll get everything sorted here for post-race here on Precision Entertainment. You're watching Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. Don't go anywhere, folks. Top 3 interviews and race results coming up right away after this quick break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. It's the George & Co. Heating and Air Conditioning 225 here for Major League Sim Racing A Open Series. We just concluded the first race ever for this series, their inaugural Season 1. And guess what? It was Zach Domer getting the job done. We're going to break down your race results here, and then we'll head over to top 3 interviews. After that, of course, let's go into the race results. Why not? In first, obviously, Zach Domer doing a great job. Jason McCook getting P2. Ronald Breland, a recovery drive for him after getting involved in one of those late cautions. He goes P3. Gary May. Jacob Leash rounding out your top 5. Richard Wilson Jr. in the 28 machine goes P6. Nicholas Kelch in the 77 in P7. And then, of course, the 92 of Corey Powell. Great job tonight. Christian Barnes in 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 is JJ Pope in that 82 machine.
We'll for back here, Gregory Vedney in 24, just outside the top 10. Joe Koenig coming home 12th despite getting fired off on the backstretch earlier on that final green-white checker. Joshua Wise making it 13th, and it's toppings. Joshua Sanook in the 091, a heavy contender, part of that top trio late in basically the third quarter of the race. Mike McCoy Sr. up at the top as well, not able to get any further than 16th. Sean Hook coming home 17th. 18th, Scott Matthews giving a whole bunch of shots throughout the event. 19 was Dakota Sidrus, and Kyler Adams bringing home the top 20.
Yeah, moving on over into everyone outside of P20. Robert Burke there in the 22 machine goes P21. Jonathan Pereira 6 laps down, and these are some of your DNFs here, folks. Manila, the 90, P23. Harris, Krocecki, Essenberg, Marciniak, Essenberg, Robinson, and Williams round out your top 30. That is the majority of the field there, folks. We'll finish it off. Pogue, Ramsey, Thompson, and Allen and Reel, some of your earlier DNFs, to round out the 35-car field here. We're going to do our first interview of the night here. P3 finish for Gary Robert Breland. Let's drag him up here. Gary, you did a great job here tonight. A P3 finish. How was the car? And obviously, congrats on the podium spot.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, the car was good. Our engineer did some work this week and I think put us in a good spot. It worked out tonight.
I mean, it was really cool to see you come up through the field, one of the highest finishers in terms of position gained. And I got a quick question. Is it Ronald, Gary? What do you want us to call you for the rest of the season?
Go for Ronald. That's fine.
Perfect. Ronald, well, you did a great job. Obviously, how was it cutting up through the field? That's the biggest thing right now.
I've got a lot of experience super speedway racing, so I enjoy that coming from the back, and it's fun, man. I think there was a lot of nerves tonight. You could see that and how well some people could hold the line, but that's just part of Daytona, man.
100%. Anyone you want to thank tonight here for the P3 finish?
Yeah, our strategists, Brad Harris, everybody at Quackback Racing, and everybody at MLSR. I appreciate you guys for putting on the race.
Obviously, we appreciate the kind words, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Indy.
Yes, sir. We'll see you.
Thank you there. Ronald Breland finishing P3. James, you're standing alongside Jason McCook, P2 finisher.
Jason, it looked like we were making a whole bunch of puns based on your name. We were saying everybody was chasing you, and that was the case for the longest time. The 1-4 looked really strong late in the run, which is where you wanted to be strong, and you led a handful of laps with your partners in crime. Looked like it slipped away right at the death, and then you basically kind of got stuck in no man's land 3 wide all the way back through the field. Talk us through that last kind of those last maybe 20 laps or so.
Yeah, man, I played the game where I wanted to just kind of take it easy and lay back early in the race. And yeah, we got up there, we led a few laps, and those last 20 laps, it was tough to break up the 0-14 and 0-91. They were doing a really good job working together. I thought I was going to be able to split them up on that one restart, trying to jump the gun there with the 0-14 to try to get in between them there so they couldn't work as well together because they were giving me a hard time up there to maintain the lead. Then we fell back, and honestly, just ending up in second place. A lot of it was just luck, that wreck panned out. I was just really aiming to get a top 5 out of it, at least being the opening night of the season. But it worked out. The seas parted, and we just kept the pedal to the floor, and we made it through there, and it worked out for us. I'm really stoked. It was a good start to the season here with Major League Sim Racing. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, you definitely had the pace, it seemed, and the wherewithal as well to get that 14 car up into the top 3. So I think that obviously a little bit of luck on your side with, as you said, the seas parting, but it looked like that 14 had the guts to go all the way. So we expect that a lot of teams will be looking over their shoulder at that 14, trying to figure out what to do with that. When it comes to the next time out at Indy, how are you feeling about that one?
I'm looking forward to Indy. I really enjoy the track. This is really my first time really trying to get down in a league series with these Class A cars, so it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve with the open setups there. Daytona, it's not too tricky, kind of easy to get the car rolling here. Um, but as we move through the schedule, I'm sure we'll kind of see some challenges ahead of us in terms of setup and getting the car right the way we need it to. But I'm so far I'm looking forward to it, and I'm got high hopes, and we got a good start in the points ladder. So I hope it does good. I'd like to say thank you to my teammates coming over and running this series with me from American Sim Racer. We got a nice league over there, and our sponsors that help keep us together and keep us going. Twin City Home and Hardware and JetFab and our guy Josh Wise, man, putting together these really cool paint schemes for us to run with this league with Apex Predator. So give him a shout out too if you're in the league and Major League Sim Racing and hook you up with a cool paint scheme.
Jason, thank you so much for joining us in the booth, and good luck the rest of the season, and congratulations on P2.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you to Jason McCook there, finishing P2. We were trying to find Zach Domer there, but it looks like he's a little excited. He's down in Victory Lane. Couldn't find him, but we'll get a word with him next week at Indy. Speaking of next week, James, go to Indianapolis, to the Oval. We just saw it today, obviously, this weekend with NASCAR. What's the biggest takeaway as we head into the second race of the season here for the A Open Series?
I think there's some drivers that probably weren't expected to do as well as they did. They'll probably be brimming with confidence and trying to get the best result possible. Obviously, everybody's trying to get the best result possible at Indianapolis, but I think there's some other drivers who are going, man, I need to find something, right? Either it was the setup, it was this, it was that. Working with other people versus not, drivers trying to figure out where they're going to be and how they're going to attack the race, considering that they kind of got a really good look at each other in this round. So I think that, I don't know if anybody's going to be best friends after this round, but I think definitely there's going to be some drivers looking over their shoulder at others and trying to figure out who's going to be quick, and hopefully I'm one of them.
100%, and I think the biggest thing, 85 laps next week at Indianapolis. You see the schedule there. The rest of the way for the 16-week season, it's 12 races before the chase, 4 final races to end out your season. So that's going to be the points battle we're going to be looking at all season long here on Precision Entertainment. But I think the biggest thing, we want to thank James Newton for hopping up into the booth with me tonight, and Bradley Cooper, a shout out to him for stepping into the producer chair and doing a great job getting us through this A Open race. We want to thank everyone for tuning in to Daytona International Speedway for the George & Co. Heating and Air Conditioning 225 here on Precision Entertainment. This has been Major League Sim Racing A Open Series competition, the first race of the season, and Zach Domer doing a great job getting the first win on the year. We'll see you folks next week here. Don't go anywhere, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night. And of course, if you want to tune in for the C Open Series, that's Tuesday night here on Precision Entertainment for Major League Sim Racing. I want to say thank you, be safe, and we'll see you next time here for Precision Entertainment. I'm Zach Case alongside James Noon and Bradley Cooper. Thank you. Have a great night.